find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. You are on Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller. And this camera is probably zoomed in a little too much, isn't it? Let's zoom me out a little bit here. I didn't want to go all the way back because maybe the less you can see of my room, the better. But with that much, you can still see that crummy chair. We need to get my son a new chair. Anyways, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're having a pleasant and wonderful Wednesday morning / afternoon / evening, wherever you are on this great big blue ball we call Earth. Let's see. I'm gonna hit that like and hit that share and let people know. Apparently, notifications are not going out. We are alive. Cross examinations time. Bippity bop bop ba. What can I say in the secret, silent loneliness of the beginning of the show? I know there's a way you can I don't understand how to set the show up so that it's like going, not going, but like scheduled. I don't know how to do that through StreamYard or even through OBS. I guess technically through Restream. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. There's a website called Restream where you can send your signal from your StreamYard or from your OBS, which are the publishing programs. And then from Restream, it'll go out to DLive, it'll go out to Facebook, it'll go out to Twitch, it'll go out to YouTube, it'll go out to like 35, well, as many as you're willing to sign up for. It'll go out to all these different channels. But I don't know how to preset and have it. I don't know. I just don't know how to work this stuff. I know other people do it. I know they do. So I know it can be done. Today's episode has no real name. Hello, Alan Walker. But I was contemplating that I am feeling my age after this rock climbing excursion on Sunday. And my wrist hurting and my back being tight. Maybe it's just because I haven't worked out in so long. But it just brings me back to this. You know, when I was younger, I used to be a very capable wrestler, sort of a naturally gifted wrestler. And so a few years ago, my nephew, in the prime of his youth, he was an adult nephew, challenged me to a wrestling match. And the one thing I knew was that I do not have the stamina. Right? So I'm like, okay, I either take him down in about 30 seconds or I am going to just run out of strength. And so that's what happened to me on Sunday as I'm rock climbing. It's like, yeah, for the first few minutes or whatever, I was like, old Mike just climbing up the bip. But boy, it's not the strength, right? I can probably still arm wrestle somebody, but maintaining when you're rock climbing, it's not just like how hard can you squeeze this thing one time. It's how hard can you squeeze this thing and then just hold it because it's all of your weight is on your fingertips and you're right. You're like, I'm 100 right now. I think 175 pounds. And I'm like precariously holding all my weight onto these tiny little fingertips of my fingers. And, you could do it. You can do it for a little bit, but boy, the stamina just is not there anymore. I don't know what to do. I mean, other than just start working out again regularly. I mean, I barely have the time to go for my walks, which is good for my heart. And I know that if I did go work out regularly, this would be good for my heart too, and good for my health in general. My life is just too busy. But when you're out of that sort of regular exercise regimen and you're 48 years old, you start to feel your age when you do anything. My whole back is like tight because of this rock climbing thing. And that was Sunday, and it's Wednesday. My wrist, it's not 100% yet, but it is feeling better. So thank you for those who have been asking about it. So enough about me complaining about getting old. I never think about getting old. I never think about it. But boy, yeah, this Sunday made me realize I ain't a teenager no more. Curious says I got a second set of books today. Today, I believe I only backed once. What is going on? That has happened 3 times that I know of now. Which books did you order? What was your order? Let me know. Yeah, which is too bad because getting old, no way. I'm getting stronger and faster. Yeah, but are you working out, Edwin, like daily? Because this is kind of the thing. I know it's not just age; it's me not being in a regular workout. Because, dude, walking stamina. I've got better walking stamina than my kids because I do it regularly, right? But I tell you what, man, I don't know if I could do a full set of what I used to press 225 in sets. First of all, I don't know if I could push up 225 once now, but there's no way I could do a full set. You know, it's the stamina. You lose. That's what you lose first, the stamina. 3-pack unsigned. Okay, that's what I think the other guys got. Jeez, how did that freaking go? Huh. Well, that would explain why I ran out of those Steve Alton stickers. Because I didn't think I should have run out of those. But I did. So, Merry Christmas. Give a set to someone. Or you just got 3 Christmas presents you can give away, I guess. What's up, Roscoe? Yeah, I need to get back into a regular. I love working out. It's just the time. I just haven't got the time. I guess I could buy a weight bench, but I'm afraid one of the kids would kill themselves on it. Captain Heltz, I am sorry, I will not be sending any extra free sets out for consistency or otherwise. I guess you can't buy them anymore. I have no other solutions for you. Sorry. Everybody like and share, please. Do like and share. There's almost as many dislikes as likes today. War Campaign is really angry that they lost their channel or something. I don't know. Well, they didn't lose their channel. It's just not really there anymore. Sam was sending you a book called The Fast 800 by Michael Mosley. Fast 800. What is that all about? Be a fun activity with Elijah. Put some meat on that scarecrow. Oh, you mean Elijah? I know that kid needs to work out. He's got an amazing physique. He's had one since he was like 3 years old. He was just like born looking like he had the physique of a freaking athlete, but he doesn't do anything. We have this picture of him. I think he was probably maybe he was like 6 or something. And I took a picture of him from behind. And I'd swear, if it wasn't for the enormous size of his head, you'd think he was a teenager. Like his physique was just already like built in. That's the Mongol DNA. Yeah, right. Although Isaac apparently got the Norwegian DNA because he looks like a scarecrow. Very thin. No pecs to speak of. It's just Micah's more like Elijah was, although a little doughier. And JoJo is again scarecrow territory. What's up, King Crow? How is everybody doing this beautiful? Actually, it's a little bit overcast. Well, no, there's just high clouds and misdemeanors. Oh my gosh, that's what's going on today. The impeachment of Donald J. Trump. It's about a metabolic change brought about through autophagy. Fasting, intermittent fasting is key. Energy boost, weight loss, etc. But how's that going to help with stamina? Mecca said, I was a little bit sad today, but then I watched the U.S. House debate and vote. What a parade of drama queens and wannabe actors saving decency, hope, kids. And these are the people who are trying to destroy the decency, hope, and murder the children in the womb in our government. All right. 1 week till Christmas. Oh, Mandalorian came out at midnight 12 hours ago. I have not watched it yet. And tomorrow, I have not heard anything good about this Star Wars movie. I really feel like this is going to be my season 8. I've tried my best to ignore as much of the Star Wars anger as possible on the last movies, even though I agree with a lot of the criticisms. They are valid criticisms. It doesn't stop me completely from enjoying them. Captain Hill says, I watched it. Might be the best episode. Oh, no, I'm talking about the Star Wars movie. Are they really impeaching him today? Today's the day. Today's the vote, I do believe. Autophagy removes damaged and senescent. I've never heard that word before. Cells, so everything else functions better. Honestly, I'm at the point I just don't care anymore. Well, it's the funny thing is, like, I don't know if you were watching the show with me and Terry talking about that. He was right. And I mean, you guys watched me talk about it live. I held out hope on season 8 of Game of Thrones until it was just so painful that I had to accept they really screwed the pooch. And I've been holding out hope. I'm going to do a video about this to upload, I think. But I don't want to do that. I'm not a Star Wars channel. I don't intend on being. And the thing is, because I wouldn't want to sit there bagging on Star Wars. But if this movie is as bad as Phantom Menace, then I think we have an interesting dynamic. Because almost every adult agrees Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. And then it's either A New Hope or Return of the Jedi, right? And then you have, of the prequels, you have the third one is the best, the second one is second best, and then you have Phantom Menace. And then of the sequels, you have I can't even remember the names of these stupid movies. The first one was the best, the second one was terrible, and now I'm hearing the third one is even worse. So you have this strange shape from beginning to end that is like the pinnacle is Empire Strikes Back, and it does this even slope down both sides. I was just thinking about that. It's like very interesting, very interesting. They've brought balance to the Force. We're a Star Wars channel on Drawn and Quartered tonight. Oh, that's right. That's right. W.T. Keaton, it's J.J. Abrams, so it will feel like a Star Wars superficially, but it will be entirely empty of substance and unsatisfying. The scale of rating Star Wars films is only a list of 1 to 6. No. You have to count them. If you can count the prequels, you can count the sequels. I'm still a hardcore prequels hater. So, I've seen the end scene. There's people are showing the end scene on Twitter where she's fighting against the Emperor. It's the artist. If the artists are smart tonight, they'll stick to episode 4 through 6 subject matter, or Darth Maul. They can add Darth Maul. Finally got to watch the commission stream for that awesome last commission of 2019. Oh, right on, Roscoe. Glad you liked. I hope you liked it. Well, you said it was awesome, so you liked it. Mecca says the Phantom Menace had Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor plus sword fights. True, the Phantom Menace had Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, both of whom I hold in highest regard as actors, and both of whom turned in the worst performances of their careers due to one director in particular who also turned in a horrible script. I cannot forgive George Lucas for becoming the man who cannot be told no. You know, George Lucas works best within a team of people shooting down his bad, because he's such an imaginative person that he can't seem to understand that not everything he imagines is a good idea. And so he put everything he imagined into the Star Wars prequels, and there was nobody there to say, George, come here, we need to talk. There was nobody there. That person wasn't there. His ex-wife, who helped edit A New Hope into something that was watchable, wasn't there anymore. You know. No, Return of the Sith was not great. Return of the Sith was not great. It was full of action. A lot of that action was really cheesy garbage. And a lot more happened there. And there was a whole lot of just horrible acting.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! Don't try it!
Say what you will about the sequels. The acting, except for the one person you don't want to criticize, which is Carrie Fisher, is all pretty spot on. The acting is good. The story, yes, the story has its issues. But the acting, the directing, oh my goodness, the cinematography is amazing. So if you have to grade it on a whole, there's so much more that is wrong with the prequels than the sequels. But story-wise, gosh, if somehow you could have combined the crews of the sequels and the prequels, somebody working with George having all these great story ideas, but with people who know good everything, editing, directing, everything, all that stuff. Because I don't care what you guys say. Freaking Rian Johnson is a phenomenal writer and a phenomenal editor. I don't know how he screwed the pooch on this movie. It's without doubt his worst movie. It is without doubt his worst movie. But his other movies, except I liked Looper, but Brothers Bloom and Brick. I mean, Brick he did with like $8 in a freaking pack of string cheese. And he made this, crafted this incredibly well written, well directed, very low budget film. Comic Book Bob says Knives Out was a film. I am looking forward to seeing Knives Out. I haven't seen that yet. Star Wars is not his forte. I don't know. I mean, I'm not even going to say science fiction isn't his forte. Well, gosh darn it. I think interjecting politics, because that's the thing is like Knives Out and Brick, there's no politics. There's no intergalactic anything. Brothers Bloom was a neat movie. I love it. And I don't even like some of the actors in there. See, that's the difference, right? I didn't like the actors in Brothers Bloom. Not all of them, but certain ones. But I loved the movie. They turned in fantastic performances. I liked the actors in the prequels, and I hated their performances. That's the difference between a good writer-director and someone who may have good ideas, but can't be told no. Johnny Torch says, the prequels were written to have 30s serial sci-fi flavor. It wasn't meant to be Dickens. That is so funny. Just yesterday on Twitter, I said that Star Wars, it was never meant to be Shakespeare. Right? But it's meant to be good. It may not be meant to be high art. That's fine. But it's meant to be good and fun. And if they're not fun, if they're so full of stupid that you can't enjoy yourself, then they've failed to do their job. Now, as I said, I was a Rian Johnson fan from the beginning. So I probably went into The Last Jedi biased, thinking, you know what? I probably don't even understand what it is he was trying to get across. But yeah, I mean, the problems are real. I will, Edwin. Mecca says nobody likes kid Anakin and drama young Anakin. You mean creepy Anakin? Creepy. Don't look at me like that. Why not? So much creepy in one actor. Coffee's getting cold. And I got no water in here. I'll steal this one. And that is a weird thing. I have seen Hayden Christensen in other movies. He's not the world's greatest actor, but he's not as bad an actor as George Lucas got out of him. Yeah, if George had done Jar Jar as a Sith, that would have redeemed his entire character quite a bit. Anyways, we are way too far into this to be still talking about Star Wars. How did we even get on this subject? I was talking about complaining about how old I am. Somehow we got into Star Wars. Oh, because it's Wednesday and we are doing Star Wars tonight. You will try Star Wars examinations. I know, maybe I should just do a show like that at some point where it's actually we're talking about Star Wars. We're not just diverting into Star Wars because that's what kind of a squirrel I am. 18 again, right? I wouldn't want to be 18 again. I would just want my 18-year-old body back. Of course, I would drive it into the ground fairly quickly because I still wouldn't be doing all the stuff I was doing at 18. I wouldn't be out there exercising, riding my bike, going rock climbing, doing the martial arts. That's what I can. I don't have the time. I was saying when I was, of course, this was years ago, a decade ago, more than a decade ago, when I was taking wushu, that was really getting me back into shape. Maybe I should just step up and go get. You just work 22 hours a day. I know, right? Jim Kata. No, any good martial arts class will get me back stamina wise. Although I do think I just need to do some weightlifting. And this has nothing to do with anything in the Bible. Let's go to Joshua chapter 5. Joshua chapter 5. See any last thoughts before I take over there? I take my wushu with those crunchy noodles. When I was 18, I had only great Star Wars content. It's true. It's true. Because the prequels didn't come out until, what was it, 98, 99? When did the first prequel come out? I remember it was 97 that the remastered Star Wars stuff came out. Mike already a master of the blade. Depends on the blade. Not a master, but practiced. Any kind of martial arts, heavy bag work is my favorite workout. Heavy bag work would probably damage my wrists. I'm probably better off with the wooden dummy. I saw the remaster in theater. Yeah, I did too. It was fun because I hadn't seen Star Wars in the theater in so long. I had just been watching it, my little VHS. But now I have it on my computer. All right, moving along. Sharing screen. Let me sip a little bit of the H2O, please. And it came to pass when all the kings, Joshua chapter 5, by the way, Joshua chapter 5, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of the Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of the Jordan before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted. Neither was there spirit in them anymore because of the children of Israel. At that time the Lord said unto Joshua, make thee sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time. And Joshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. So I think estimates are there were about 2 million Jews at this time, if I remember. I may be remembering wrong, but so that would be roughly 1 million foreskins. That's a hill of foreskins. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt that were male, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. 40 years. 40 years got rid of that whole slave mentality. All the men of war. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came out forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness. Till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord. unto whom the Lord sware that he would now show them the land, which the Lord sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way, just in case you hadn't gotten the point yet. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in their camp till they were whole. Well, I mean whole, they didn't grow back there. Anyways, and the Lord said unto Joshua, this day I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of this place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month, at even in the plains of Jericho. That means at night. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn on the selfsame day. That's not corn, that's wheat, basically. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? And he said, nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord I am now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. How do we know this is Jesus? How do we know? Well, maybe not a Christophany of some sort. How do we know that this is God, the captain of the host of the Lord? Is it because he says he's the captain of the host of the Lord? No. It's because Joshua falls to his face in worship, and this captain of the host of the Lord accepts the worship. Angels do not accept worship. If you ever bow, and it is man's natural inclination to fall on your feet when you see an angel, because holy crap, they're an angel, right? They're powerful, amazing beings closer to, anyways. But any angel, except for maybe Lucifer, will not accept your worship. He, because angels are male, will say, rise up off your feet. I am not worthy to be worshipped, because only God is worthy of worship, which is something that Lucifer's not a fan of, but whatever. Okay, I'm out. See you later, fuzzy creature. Mike already. Oh, gosh, nobody commented while I was reading the Bible. That's kind of cool. Except for Roscoe, who says, Hilla, lot of foreskins. I know. You figure one foreskin is about the size of a slice of an olive. How many is a million? That's terrible. Angels would have corrected Joshua and told him to stand. Yes. I already read that, didn't I? Cue the anti-circumcision brigade's outrage. I know. My niece, she lives in Germany, and she was saying something about that. She posted some article about how, it should be the man's choice when he's an adult to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, do you even know why it became standard practice in America to circumcise? I think something like 2/3 of American males are circumcised. I'm like, it's not because of some religious practice. It's because back in the day, some some woman's doctor. I don't even know if they called them OBGYNs back then. Probably gynecologist. Noticed that his Jewish patients had essentially no cervical cancer. And he's like, what? How is it they have no cervical cancer, but the rest of his patients, got it as regularly as the general population? And he figured it out. Because Jewish husbands are circumcised. An uncircumcised member is practically a petri dish. Especially for back in the day when people didn't bathe daily or regularly as they do now, using hot water and body wash, all that stuff. And so imagine, living in the desert in a time when bathing was rare, right? Is it as necessary in the West today, or in, cultures where bathing has always been ritually, or not even ritually, but has been a part of their culture, like Japan, right? Japanese are very clean people. They would bathe regularly. But they would get rid of that little petri dish of bacteria and germs and things that ultimately becomes a delivery service of foreign things that shouldn't be in another warm, wet environment, which could cause damage to the cells, which causes cancer, which kills people. So you understand, God had a very good, very valid, and very important reason for this covenant. I put covenant in quotes. It is a covenant. I don't mean to put it in quotes. But the ritual of it was because what's God going to do? Thou shalt circumcise your male children on the 8th day, because that's the day when the vitamin K in the system is the highest and the immune system is at its peak, and therefore the baby was more likely to not suffer any infections if you circumcise them on the 8th day. And then also, by the way, later in life when they get married, the foreskin will not create a home for germs that can repeat, blah blah blah. He didn't spend half a chapter explaining the health benefits of circumcision. It wasn't until the 1800s that we figured it out. And now you have this whole anti-circumcision thing going around the world because of what? Roscoe says, funny how all of God's laws have actual physical benefits and aren't just because that is correct. Dark Admiral says, you finally focus, and here we are. I'm joking. Jalapeno Milk says, are we on circumcision examinations again? Well, we were just talking about the hill of the foreskins. Come on. You knew this was going there. Oni, you'll thank me later, son. That's right. I mean, you know what? It's the same argument with corporal punishment for your children. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And we've got a culture that's trying to say, no, it's child abuse. If you ever spank your children, you can't do that because you can't tell. Just go tell them to sit in the corner and think about what they did. No, spare the rod, spoil the child. You teach them their lessons. You teach them the lessons so that they will remember. This is not advocating for child abuse. That is not what corporal punishment is about. It is about training up your children to be good human beings so that they'll remember. Again, you guys have met Elijah. That dude, he's now a dude. He's no longer a kid. Has never lied to me. I mean, he's lied to me once. He lied to me once. And I taught him a lesson. He has not lied to me since. And now he's 18 years old. Do it right. Do it by the book. The book knows better than the psychologists of today who's saying, you know, if you don't do this, well, you can't do that because this is not very good for them. Blah 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 blah. Uh-oh, I better close my window. They are spraying for pest controls here. Kid Dude Man, yes. I should be able to beat everyone that isn't a good human. I see you. What kind of sick karate beatings you put him through, Mike? So when I was, I don't know, this parenting stuff. When my kids were of what I call spanking age, which is 9 years old and under, I would give them the maximum spanking of their age. So when they were 3 years old, the maximum spanking was 3 spankings, three patchkis, 4, and so on till 9. And it's amazing. In the early years, you're doling out spankings because there's a lot of lessons to be learned, right? By the time they're 8, 9 years old, maybe even 7, it's just less and less and less. I don't think I spanked any of the kids. They're all older than 9 now. I don't think I've spanked any of them in their 9th year more than twice. Right? Their 8th year, probably 2 or 3 times. Their 7th year, maybe 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean? It's really, you train them up early. And they're good kids by the time they're not kids anymore. Right? Before they're preteens, they're good kids because you've trained them up correctly. Matsia says, I think when we explain the ceremonial law in terms of health benefits, we miss the point. What's the health benefit of not mixing fibers? That's a good one, Matt. I don't know what that one is. I honestly don't. It might be an allergies thing. I don't know. I know my wife, her family has a lot of allergies. I don't know if that's a Jewish thing or not. What I can say is it may be similar to, saying that you don't put new wine into old wineskins because you'll just corrupt, it'll burst the wineskin. It's like you have to think about, back then you couldn't go to Walmart and buy a pack of t-shirts for $3, right? Every piece of clothing that you got was something that was handmade, which took a significant amount of time for any person to make, right? And therefore this could just be a practicality thing, really. If you sew a piece of wool onto a piece of, I don't know, flax, cotton, the two materials will wear differently, and ultimately, I don't know. It could, I don't know for sure. I could only speculate, and I'm not a real big fan of speculating as to purpose. You know what I mean? I can speculate how things happened just out of fun, but speculating about the purpose of things when I don't actually know, I'll just have to, as they had to take circumcision on faith, I still have to take mixed fibers on faith. I don't know. Dragon says the mixing of fibers was a tribal identification thing, if I remember right. I have no clue. Uh, so was circumcision, whether it lowered cervical cancer rates, is incidental, honestly. So is circumcision, whether it lowered cervical cancer rates, is incidental, honestly. It's not, though. It's not, though. That's like saying that the ritual law of washing your pans after you cook meat in them and destroying the earthenware that you cook meat in rather than using it again, where it's a freaking bacterial petri dish that will make you sick, or the not eating of the extremely high cholesterol, high in bacteria, unclean foods like shellfish, the tapeworm riddled pork, you know, all of the laws, the dietary laws and the health laws are medically sound laws. God was not telling anybody to, rub feces into open wounds, right? All of the laws were there for the benefit. The law was written for man. The law was written to benefit man. And yes, they may have been ritual because God didn't want to sit there and explain bacteria. That's just one more thing they'd have to take on faith because they hadn't created microscopes. They had no idea what bacteria was. They couldn't and God said, there is a teeny tiny thing that is so small that you can't see it, but if you ingest it, it will corrupt your system and you will develop cancer and die. No, he just said, don't do this. Do this. Don't do this. Do this. And all that stuff he said is medically and scientifically sound advice today. It's not just incidental. Roscoe says, I mean, yes, God said it, so that is enough, but that doesn't mean it's just because. That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. It's not just because. Do it because God said. But God's not just saying it on a lark. He's saying it for a purpose. It's trust in God, plain and simple. Right, but see, we're not under the law anymore. But we can look back at the law and see that the law is not just faithful and true because it's God. It's faithful and true because God designed us. God designed this planet. So he knows how everything works. So when he gives us a law, even if we didn't understand it then, even if we don't understand it now, we know that that law is good and it is for the benefit of us individually and of society as a whole. You look too superficially into God's regulations if you think it's only because God said so. Well, that's what I'm saying is back then, they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have been capable of understanding what the benefits were of what they were doing. They were just being told that they were being clean, right? It was as simple as that. Don't eat unclean foods. Don't touch unclean women. Don't touch unclean things like bodies. Otherwise, you are ritually unclean for this length of time. You have to bathe. You have to take, it's like, it's the most bizarre thing. There was a time in this country where doctors would go from the morgue doing an autopsy on a corpse directly into the delivery room to deliver a baby out of you know where babies come from. And then you would get I can't remember what it's called, decrepit, some kind of, the bacteria or whatever from the corpse on the baby and in the mother, and you'd have a skyrocketing mortality rate. And the doctor who said, you know what, I'm going to try washing my hands and see if anything changes. I'm going to be clean. The doctor that figured this out and then noticed that the mortality rate of the children he delivered and the mothers who bore them was diminished incredibly. He went to the American Medical Association and said, or whatever the doctor's thing was, and said, guys, wash your hands, be clean, and you will save lives. They laughed him to scorn. It took, I think, 40 or 50 years before the rest of the medical establishment picked up on, oh, we should probably wash our hands. And that's what I'm talking about in the Old Testament. It's mankind isn't automatically figuring out all of this stuff that is good for our health and therefore putting it into laws, right? God knew. God knew. You don't take a dump and then go eat your food without cleansing. You don't touch dead bodies and then just waltz into town and touch other. No, you have to cleanse yourself. You have to be ritually clean. There's all of this stuff in the laws, and they are all medically and scientifically 100% sound. Did Doug miss that part of the Bible? I think he did. I think he did. And so, yeah, I'm just saying that this is the whole wash your hands thing in the medical community. The medical community, which is supposed to be what? The smartest and the brightest among us. They didn't figure this out. And then when they heard about it, they laughed at the guy that figured it out. But God knew better. God knew better than everybody. For 3,000 years, 3,500 years, however long it was since the law was written, God knew, and science and medicine is catching up to what God knew now in our lifetimes. So all that to say, mixed fabrics? I don't know. Am I going to let not knowing that hang me up when all of this other evidence is so crystal clear that God knows better than we do? No. Somebody tells me it's not kosher to put a tab A into slot B. Am I going to tell God he doesn't know what he's talking about? No, I am not. God knows better than we do. Whether that is sexual immorality, whether that is ritual health laws, what we should eat, how we should clean ourselves, whatever it is, God writes these laws for our benefit, not so that he can point down at us and say, ha, 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 you can't have fun. It's for our benefit. The sin is fun. Well, not all of it. Well, yeah, probably all of it. If it wasn't fun, it wouldn't be tempting, right? And it might be fun for a season, and you might get away with it for a while, right? But God saying the wages of sin is death isn't entirely spiritual. We are born dead, right? We have to accept salvation, and it is a gift unto us. But the wages of sin is death is that all of these sins that we commit, when we break God's laws, we're going against the owner's manual. You know, the creator, the designer of the human machine told us how these machines work optimally. And when we go against the directions of the creator, then we work at a less than optimal level. Sometimes we work at such opposite optimal levels that we destroy not only ourselves, but we destroy society as a whole. So yeah, it's like when Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Right? Take a day off. Take a day off every week. You are going to wear yourself out. You are going to fatigue yourself to the point where you are not doing your best. You are not performing optimally. Take a day off a week. It's not just to spend it with God. It's because that's how we are designed. We are designed to rest, right? We are designed to take time off, spend time recuperating mentally, physically, whatever it is. The Sabbath was made for man, for our benefit, not man for the Sabbath. We weren't made for religion. This quote unquote religion was made so that we best function. And at this point, I am being redundant. So Matsy says, I think what I am saying is that there isn't a law that is unhealthy for people. It's just that the point is that they set Israel apart ritually speaking. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, they set Israel apart and they made Israel to flourish. And they weren't flourishing because they were being ritual. They were flourishing because the rituals had purpose. The purpose is the rituals were made for man, not man for the rituals. I think Jesus summed that up with the whole what I just said. I don't see the point. Johnny Torch says, in other words, we could find out later there was some scientific purpose in not mixing fibers. Right. It could be 100 years from now. Scientists will be like, holy crap. You know what? You know what? Washing your hands between the morgue and the delivery room is a good idea. And then you have all the SJWs. What is he talking about? That's crazy. We're just going to keep washing, just keep going right from the morgue to the delivery. And it's an odd way to extrapolate it, but it is exactly that, right? All the people poo-pooing on God's laws today, all the people trying to say that, oh, it's just some ancient religion, you shouldn't listen to it. It's like, fine, don't wash your hands. You don't allow women in temples. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if that's a biblical thing or if that was just a Jewish tradition. If somebody knows, look it up for me. I wish I owned the patent to soap. That'd be a little hard. That's just lye and lard. The original soap was just lye and lard. Matsy says, think about cooking goat meat in mother's milk. Nothing unsanitary about that, but Canaanites made that meal to honor Baal. Oh, did they? Did they? Yeah, you shall not see the kid in its mother's milk. Which, again, this gets into a whole thing about religion. Oh, I don't have time. Well, you have 20 seconds left. But, that one commandment, even though it had its own purpose, has been warped into this whole keeping kosher thing about keeping milk products away from meat products. Orthodox homes, they'll have 2 refrigerators. They'll have 2 sinks. They'll have 2 cutting boards. They'll have 2 everything so that they do not dare get a piece of cheese someplace that a piece of meat was, because they strain at a gnat. You know what I mean? They strain at a gnat. Is it cold in San Diego today, Cali boy? I haven't been outside yet, but it's a little chilly in my room. So anyways, we are at an hour. We spent a lot of time talking about no notification again. Sorry, Kazmeti, you're going to have to go back and watch it all over again. We spent the first 20 minutes talking about getting old in Star Wars. And then here we are. Thanks, everybody, for being here. God bless you. Have a great and wonderful Wednesday, we will see you on Drawn and Quartered. I might drop a video between now and then. Love to you all, and just say bye-bye, Isaac.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And just remember,
I find your lack of faith disturbing.